Hey everyone, buckle up, because we are diving deep into some seriously wild stuff today.
Oh, yeah, this one's a doozy.
We're talking about the moon,
Our very own moon.
but not just like, the regular moon stuff.
Yeah.
We're tackling the theory that the moon
Get this.
is artificial.
Artificial satellite.
Whoa, right.
Yeah.
And to get into all this,
All the juicy details.
our source material is
Drumroll, please.
an episode of Ancient Aliens,
Classic.
Season 11, Episode 11.
Space Station Moon, that they called it.
Catchy, right?
Definitely grabs your attention.
So that's our mission
Our
today.
deep dive mission.
We're going to break down what Ancient Aliens is claiming
All their arguments.
and see if their evidence
If there is any.
really holds up to scrutiny.
Right, because they make some pretty bold claims.
They do. They really do.
Like, this whole thing starts with this
Look,
article.
From way back,
1970.
a Russian magazine called Sputnik
Sputnik, yeah.
and two scientists,
Michael Vasin and Alexander Sherbakov.
they published this theory.
That was pretty out there.
Especially back then.
I mean, think about it.
It's the height of the Cold War.
These are Russian scientists.
Publishing in a Russian magazine
And they're saying
that the moon,
might not be natural at all,
in fact,
that it could be
an artificial object
brought here.
by,
Aliens.
yep,
So you can imagine
the backlash.
she probably got.
Oh, yeah.
But these guys,
These weren't just some random guys
they were legit scientists.
with credentials.
And they had some pretty interesting observations.
Yeah, observations that made them question.
Everything about the moon.
Like one of the things they pointed out.
That I thought was super interesting.
It's based on,
The depth of the craters on the moon.
those craters?
Yeah.
It seems like
The moon's surface.
crazy thin.
They said?
Maybe only like 2.5 miles thick, if you think about it.
Doesn't really make sense.
For a natural satellite,
Right.
like a natural object that
Yeah.
size,
Should have a much thicker crust.
way thicker.
Like, way thicker.
So that was a big red flag for them.
Huge.
And then they started looking at
The composition of moon dust.
moon dust. Yeah.
And they found some
Unusual elements,
chromium,
titanium,
zirconium.
not your everyday space dust.
Not all.
And these elements,
They're known for being,
super durable.
like, incredibly strong.
So they thought this is evidence
Of some kind of...
deliberate design.
Right. Like,
If you were going to build
a
an
giant...
artificial satellite
You'd want to use materials
that could withstand
from all the hazards of space.
meteorite
Right,
impact,
shebang.
and that's exactly how
It's like they were chosen on purpose.
for a specific reason.
Yeah, but
Exactly.
why-
It's a pretty compelling argument, right?
It is. It is. But of course, there are other explanations.
Oh, I'm sure.
And people have looked into it,
Like using modern technology.
trying to see if they can detect.
A hollow moon.
Right. Like, you'd think
If it was hollow
we'd be able to tell.
with all our fancy equipment.
Yeah.
But it's not that straightforward.
No, there have been experiments.
They've analyzed seismic waves,
From moonquake
trying to see how the waves travel through the moon.
to see if that tells us anything about the interior.
Yes,
Open to interpretation.
some researchers say.
The way those waves behave,
Supports the hollow moon idea.
while others say.
It doesn't prove anything.
So it's still a mystery.
A big one.
And this is where ancient aliens,
They come in
they
really
start to...
stir the pot
Yeah, they bring in this whole other element.
to the discussion
They connect these scientific theories.
with ancient myths and legends from all over the world
Those stories?
that have been passed down
For generations,
For
the
the-
time before the moon.
when the moon wasn't in the sky.
Like some cultures.
They even describe the moon being
Pulled into place.
like it was brought here.
On purpose.
Now, a lot of people,
They dismiss these stories as,
this folklore,
made up tales.
Have
Ancient
to-
aliens.
that maybe were actually based
of the
on
real events.
like echoes of something.
That actually happened.
The time
The
when
moon arrived in Earth's orbit.
brought here by
You guessed it.
aliens.
So they're taking this
Of
idea
an artificial moon.
and they're pushing it even further.
like way further.
They're saying the moon isn't just artificial.
But it's actually
It's giant spaceship.
a spaceship.
It's giant hollow spaceship.
Wow.
I know, right?
It's a pretty big leap.
It is, but they try to back it up.
With them,
They present this image
And there
as
we
this
have-
camouflaged structure made to look natural.
but underneath
It's this highly advanced.
alien technology
And they even suggest
that there could be
like hidden engines.
inside the moon. This whole spaceship moon thing,
It's all tied to the idea extraterrestrial observation.
like maybe
The aliens brought the moon here.
As a base.
A secret observation post.
To monitor Earth.
Yeah, it's like their hidden headquarters.
I mean, it sounds crazy.
It does. It really does.
That's what I gotta admit.
It's kind of cool to think about.
Like, what if
That
there
really were
aliens up there
watching us
right now
from their secret moon base?
That would be...
Mind-blowing.
Yeah, it would change everything.
Everything.
It's important to remember, though,
Right.
that this whole spaceship moon idea
Is just one
interpretation
of the artificial moon theory.
There are other researchers
Who've explored the idea
of an artificial moon.
without going
Full-on spaceship.
Yeah, and their work might not be as
Flashes.
ancient aliens.
But it's still
contributing to the conversation.
It's all part of the bigger picture.
Right.
Whether you believe
The moon is hollow.
or a spaceship, or even just a plain old natural satellite,
The fact that we're questioning it,
is what's important.
it makes us think differently.
About our place in the universe.
Exactly.
And that's never a bad thing.
No, it's how we learn and grow. Even if it turns out
The moon is just
regular old rock
the journey of exploring these ideas.
is what makes it all worthwhile.
The questioning, the searching.
It opens up
all sorts of abilities.
and who knows?
Maybe
But all we're busy
debating
whether the moon is a spaceship.
there are other mysteries out there
Just wait.
being discovered.
Just keep looking up.
Keep asking questions.
Just maybe
Well, we'll find
out
it.
there
That's how you
somewhere
go.
until you look.